Now that my son has passed the bar to become a lawyer, I don't have any use for an uneducated wife.
I beg your pardon?
You should know that our marriage is over. It's time for you to move along.
This is so sudden. What are you suggesting?
I've been planning this from the very beginning. I don't like having someone like you around the house. Watching you slip into middle age gives me a headache.
So now that Henry's passed the bar, you don't need my income. Is that it?
Even though he's just a stepson to you, you've really worked hard for him the last 10 years. It's not that I don't appreciate it, but I'm ready to trade you in for a new, prettier, and younger wife.
I could be wrong, but the way you're talking, it sounds like you already have someone in mind.
It isn't surprising, is it? I'm a very popular man. I'm at the top of my game, you could say.
For someone that doesn't even have a job, you sound awfully sure of yourself.
Henry's gonna be making a really good income from now on. I'll be handling his money for him, so it's basically mine.
Does he know about that yet? Do you think he'll be comfortable with it?
I'm his father. Of course he'll let me handle everything, it's only natural.
So you aren't going to be changing a thing for yourself, just wandering around the house with nothing to do all day.
Oh, I have big plans. I'll be spending the money with my new wife. Flirting, morning, noon, and night. I'll have Henry handle things around the house. He can do most of the chores and handle the shopping on his days off.
That's quite a plan you've made for yourself.
It's not much different than before. Everything you've been doing will just be up to him now.
Don't you think what you're doing is wrong?
Are you saying you don't want to leave me? Or what exactly are you trying to say?
Oh no, I have no interest in sticking with you. Not after everything you've just said.
Thanks for everything you've done for Henry for the last 10 years. You worked really hard for him. He needed a mother and you really stepped up. It's all exactly as I had planned.
Let me get this straight. You always planned to leave me as soon as you had the chance.
He's always dreamed of becoming a lawyer, ever since he was a small child. I needed someone to help make the dream come true for him. Someone who'd bring home a solid paycheck, but also cook and clean. You were perfect for the job. You even encouraged him.
How awful.
But now that he's a lawyer, it'd be embarrassing for him to have such an uneducated mother. You barely made it out of high school. You don't have any real education. We don't need you. You're just an inconvenience at this point.
My family couldn't have supported me through school. I got a job as soon as I was old enough and I took care of myself. What's so wrong with that?
I'm saying that you aren't a good match for Henry anymore. You aren't fit to be his mother.
Suited or not, that isn't the issue here. You are so selfish. If you don't have anything nice to say, why don't you shut your mouth?
Look, you were lucky just to get 10 years with a man like me. You don't have anything to be upset about. Just be thankful for what you got.
You have a lot of nice things to say about yourself, don't you? We had only been married a month when you quit your job. You haven't done a thing for anyone since.
It's not my fault I lost my will to work. It's an illness. It's nothing I can control. But hey, look at the bright side. You got to come home to this every day. Lucky girl. I was all yours since I was stuck at home.
Of all the conceited things I have heard, that's got to be the worst. I did everything for Henry. I had nothing to do with you.
You don't have to act all tough just because you're getting tossed aside. You really did a lot. You did the housework, you raised the boy into a man, you held down a job. You can be proud of yourself.
I'm not feeling great about it in the least right now.
Take the compliment for heaven's sake. If you're gonna be all dour and grumpy, you'll never find a new husband.
Sure, thank you so much, dear. I'm so glad you noticed how hard I work. But aren't you ashamed of yourself? He's your own son. How can you expect so much from him?
What's the point of having a tool in your toolbox if you're never gonna use it?
But using your own family like this, it's horrible.
This is how I see it. You always stacked part-time jobs onto the end of your regular workday. You barely slept and you ended up letting yourself go. You hardly resemble a woman anymore, just a worker bee. The only real value you've brought to the table is your income.
Of course, I always had multiple jobs and was tired all the time. You wouldn't work and you never helped me around the house. What choice did I have?
Get off your high horse. If you really love your husband, you take care of him when he's sick. It's what people do.
I don't see how you can call yourself sick. You seem fine enough to me.
So, I had a serious case of the blues. It's not my fault that I can't shake it. Humans really should be free to relax and do as they please. It's what's best for them.
Have you ever done anything else? You always do exactly what you please. You're the least responsible person I know.
You're right, I do as I please, and that's why I'm telling you we're through. Enjoy being miserable on your own. You'll make a fine spinster.
My name is Elise. I'm 45 years old. 10 years ago, I married my husband, Ethan. It was my first time getting married, but Ethan had been married once before. He had one son from his previous marriage, Henry. At the time, Henry was 17 and a junior in high school. I was really worried how things would go for us. I really wanted to be a good stepmother, but I should never have worried. Things clicked between us immediately. I quickly came to see him as my own son, and I grew attached to him. I did my best to raise him well. Unfortunately, almost immediately after we got married, Ethan quit his job. I found myself having to pay for everything on my own. I was buying all the groceries, paying for Henry to go to school, doing all the chores and housework. It was a lot. Ethan, on the other hand, spent his days in front of the TV. I wanted to make sure Henry was provided for, so I got a second job, and a third. I worked in a factory all day and picked up some work from home gigs to bring in some extra money on the side. We needed every penny I could earn just to get by, but I supported us. And then the day came that Henry passed the bar. It had been his dream to be a lawyer for so long. I'd been cheering him on for so long that I was as happy as if I had passed it myself. It was a great day. Or at least it was a first. Then my happiness turned to dust. My husband told me he wanted a divorce.
I took all your clothes and jewelry and stuff down to the pawn shop and the secondhand stores. I managed to sell them all off. I'm gonna use the money to throw a little party for Henry. I want to celebrate his success.
Are you serious? I'm at work. What have you done?
You think of him as your own son, don't you? You said so yourself. You should want to celebrate.
Get my things back.
Go buy them yourself. You know where the shops are. I'm gonna take this money and go grab a nice dinner, maybe a steak.
Is Henry with you?
No, he's been gone since this morning. He's got a lot going on for work now that he's passed. I'm gonna toast to his success on my own. I think I'll have a good scotch with my steak.
What kind of celebration is it if he isn't even with you? So what you really mean to say is you felt like a steak dinner, but you didn't know how to pay for it.
I'm really proud of him. This is a big deal. But it's going to be a little extra tasty since it's being paid for with your stuff.
Stop it. This isn't funny, Ethan.
Okay, you want me to get to the point. When you get home, you're gonna find divorce papers on the kitchen table. When you get back, you can go ahead and sign them and turn them in.
I see.
It's just one more step in the ladder. Next step is getting a new wife. I can't wait to get my hands on a girl in her 20s again. It's about time.
You think that's gonna work out for you?
Of course it will. There's plenty of fish in the sea and plenty of girls saying they'd like to marry a guy like me.
Oh, really?
I've been on a dating app for a while now. I've got around 5 girls wanting to meet me right now.
It's hard to imagine there are really women out there in the world looking for someone like you.
In the end, it's the smart guys that win. When you're young, they're mostly wanting handsome ones. But if they're only handsome, that fades over time. It's the smart ones that come out on top eventually.
Even the unemployed ones?
I'll have money coming in from Henry. No one cares where it comes from as long as it's coming. When I find the right girl, I'm gonna spoil her rotten with all the money he'll have for me.
I can't tell if you're optimistic or just an idiot that isn't thinking things through.
Say what you want, but I know what I'm doing. Speaking of which, we need to talk about how we're dividing up our property.
I don't really have any savings or anything.
How is that possible? You've been working the whole time we've been married. How can you not have anything saved up?
You've spent it all? That's how?
Sure, I spend a little in the casinos or gambling now and then, but that's really it. I never really won much, but I tried. I just always got bad tips from the bookies. And you didn't save up anything, so what are you talking bad about me for?
For someone that lost every bet he ever made, you sure are full of yourself.
What can I say? I'm the kind of man that enjoys playing the game more than winning the game. I'd like to focus on the process.
Don't try to sound like a philosopher. It just sounds dumb coming out of your mouth.
I'm not gonna dignify that with an answer, you trash.
You shouldn't treat people like garbage, and you shouldn't call them that either.
I threw you away like garbage, so I don't think I'm wrong calling you that. I'm tired of smelling you rotting away. You need to hurry up and move out.
Fine by me. Henry and I will leave immediately.
What? What are you talking about?
I'm not the only one that's leaving. He said he wanted to come too.
Huh? You're in the middle of work. You shouldn't be texting him while you're trying to do your job.
To tell you the truth, we've been talking on WhatsApp for a while now. When I told him what was going on, he chose sides immediately. He didn't pick you.
But he's my son. Don't talk like that. He's mine, and he's gonna be taking care of me.
It would seem he doesn't really respect you as his father anymore.
What's that supposed to mean?
I've told him everything you said, including your plans for him. Needless to say, he's furious.
Don't be ridiculous. I brought him into this world. The least he can do is take care of me now. Did he forget who raised him? Who gave him everything he has?
Think back really hard on the life you've lived, on what you've done for him. Can you really be honest with yourself and say that?
When I left his mother, I had to fight hard to get custody of him. I made sure he was mine and mine alone because I knew one day he would take care of me.
You never wanted him because you loved him or thought he was important?
Of course he was important. That smart brain of his was gonna pay for me one day.
That's not what I meant.
Don't get ahead of yourself. You have no right to take him. You aren't even related to him. He isn't yours.
He doesn't belong to anyone. He's a grown man. But that being said, he doesn't seem to care about how much DNA we share.
Damn it. In that case, fine. We won't get divorced.
What?
I never thought Henry was that close to you. I didn't imagine he'd want to leave with you. So forget about the divorce. We'll stay married.
Are you serious?
Look, I already signed the papers, but we can still work things out. There's still time to stop this.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
What would I get out of staying with you? There's nothing in it for me.
Why would you say that? What would you get? What wouldn't you get? This isn't a business negotiation.
I'm afraid it won't be possible. Even if it was my job to make things work with you, I couldn't.
You aren't thinking about this clearly. You may be tired from your job and all the housework, but you've got a good-looking man here. That can heal the soul.
You think you're that good looking?
Who else but me? I got the looks of a Hollywood actor or a model, maybe even a Roman god. You can take all the stress of the day and just let go when you look at my face.
It's not my stress I want to let go of. It's you.
Don't be silly. The only reason you've stuck with me all these years is because I'm attractive.
You're the one being silly. The only reason I couldn't leave you was because I cared about Henry. There's no other reason.
He's not even your kid. Why do you care so much? I know. It's really hard to let go of a man like me. It's your way of hanging on.
How annoying. You're so sure, even though you're wrong.
How dare you?
If your debt was erased, would you even need Henry anymore?
Huh?
Did you really think I wouldn't find out? I found some receipts in your jacket pocket. A lot of them. They were all from a loan shark.
Oh, you found those. About that, I can explain.
It looks like one of those rip-off places. What kind of interest did you agree to? Judging by the name, I doubt that it's a legitimate business.
Well, no matter. You need some cash if you're gonna make any investments.
Investments? And what exactly are you investing in?
Horse races and, slot machines, that sort of thing.
You and I have very different definitions of the word investment.
I guess. I'm sorry I didn't say anything before now. I had a tip. It was a sure thing. I knew I was gonna win. My buddies have never let me down before. I believed them completely.
So,
I was told that it was a sure thing and the return was gonna be really high. 100 to 1 kind of odds. I'd be set for life. I may have borrowed the money from a slightly dangerous fellow. I lost. Instead of coming in first, my horse came in dead last. I ended up owing around 40 grand.
you're awfully brazen to think you can take Henry's salary to pay back that kind of debt.
No, it isn't like that.
Really?
When you really think about it, I'm not the bad guy here. Really, it's the guys that gave me the tip. They convinced me to put down that kind of money. It's all their fault. It's their job to get the money back. I'll collect it from them.
And the mystery is solved.
They won't ask you for Henry for a single penny, I swear.
Even if they asked for it, I wouldn't help you. It never even occurred to me that you'd have gone that far. Even from the beginning, I didn't think you had it in you.
I need you to do me a favor, though. I need you to convince Henry. You aren't even his real mother. He needs to stick with his actual family. I'm his father. He needs to help me.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think he blocked your phone number. I know he's blocked you on WhatsApp and on all his social media.
I wondered why I couldn't get in touch with him. That explains it.
I think I'm going to follow his example and block you too.
Wait, I have a good idea. What if I gave a little part-time job a try? I could work at a convenience store.
I don't get it. How is that a good idea? What's the point?
I've got everything else going for me. What if I had a little money coming in too? You couldn't leave a man like that. For somebody like you, you couldn't ask for any better. It would be like a treat, a dream come true.
Oh, of course. In that case, goodbye.
Come on, just listen to what I have to say. I know I said I got a tip from friends, but I don't actually talk to those guys much at all. I barely hear from them. In fact, I can't even find them lately. You and Henry can help me look for them.
I have no intention of looking for them. And even if you find them, that isn't going to erase your debt.
Are you really going to throw away your chance to keep a man like me? You'll regret it forever. You'll never find another man as good as me ever again.
It must be exhausting to carry that ego of yours around. So long, Ethan.
I don't care if you come back or Henry comes back, but one of you needs to come back to me. You can't leave me alone like this. I can come get you. Just let me know where you are. I'm begging you. Just give me a chance to talk to you. Hello, where'd you go? Write me back.
That's how things ended between me and my ex-husband, Ethan. I hear he really did end up getting a little job at a convenience store, but he didn't last very long. He spent his entire shift checking the horse races on his phone. He couldn't resist, and after just 3 days, he was fired. He didn't have a single person left that he could ask for help. He'd alienated everyone. He couldn't pay his rent, and it wasn't long before he was evicted. He ended up renting in a real slum after that. The sort of place that is dark and dirty, where the heat never works and the water probably isn't safe to drink from the tap. I hear he gets regular visits from some pretty unsavory henchmen. The loan shark he borrowed from is ready to collect, and I think he must spend his days in fear. As far as Henry and I go, we each found our own place to live. I think he was ready to be out on his own, and I was happy to get a fresh start too. We may not be related by blood, but we have a truly strong bond that'll last a lifetime. We talk regularly, and we even meet up now and then. Sometimes he comes over to my house for dinner, or we have a cup of coffee together in the park. He's enjoying his work as a lawyer, and things seem to be going really well for him. I've been cheering for him for so long. It feels good to see him succeed. I'm so proud of him. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button for more great content.